actually is not that difficult to game AI in order to essentially serve as personal PR, positive PR for a government, a war criminal, the nation state of Israel. So it turns out that Israeli operatives are trying to poison AI chatbots with the goal of making AI essentially regurgitate propaganda that's favorable to their crimes against humanity. I'm not kidding. Now, there is reporting on this. I'm gonna show you the receipts. But amazingly, everyone involved has openly admitted to the scheme. Openly, they're overt, they're candid. And I always appreciate that type of honesty. Now, first, what does it mean to poison AI? It's important to understand this. Now, people have discovered that you can create web pages for specific purposes, like rehabbing your reputation, rehabbing the image of Israel, for the purpose of getting, those web pages picked up by these chatbots. Because remember, chatbots aren't human beings with brains. They're just scouring the internet and then spitting out an answer to your question. And oftentimes, if there is a web page specifically created to muddy the waters, well, the AI chatbots will pick up on that. So these web pages are filled with blogs containing whatever misinformation you want to contaminate the AI with. And the chatbots can be tricked into essentially thinking those web pages are authoritative sources. So they'll just repeat the misleading information to their users. And if the users aren't smart enough in determining that these web pages are created specifically for the purpose of misinformation and poisoning the AI chatbot, well, they're not going to know that they're just consuming inaccurate information. So it is important to note that Israel is not the only foreign country that is trying to do this, obviously. So other countries like Russia have been trying to do the same thing. So in theory, anyone can poison AI because it's well known how to do it. And so the chief technology officer of Market Brew, that's a company that specializes in influencing AI models, said the following: what you can do is make sure that your information is structured, sourced, and aligned in a way that those systems are more likely to retrieve it when someone asks a question. It's less about changing the conversation and more about making sure your facts are eligible to be part of it. So let's go back to focusing on how Israel is doing this. And there's a very specific way that was reported by Dropsite News. So the Israeli government is, as we all know, paying former Trump campaign advisor Brad Parscale to do this, to not only carry out a pro-Israel influence campaign here in the United States, but also to poison these AI chatbots. So in his initial agreement with Israel, Parscale said that he would deploy websites and content to deliver GPT framing results on GPT conversations as part of that contract. Now, if you don't know what that means, don't worry, I'm gonna break it down for you. So an analyst at NewsGuard, which is a disinformation tracking company, told Dropsite News that the web pages or the websites have bullet points, key takeaways at the top of the page, aggressive sourcing, digestible information, all of which happen to increase the likelihood that this content is picked up by AI chatbots. So just to give you a sense of how Parscale specifically did this, he created 10 web pages for the purpose of getting picked up by these AI chatbots. And here's what they are. Okay, I'm gonna give you the list right there: paxpoint.org, alivia.org, factsignal.org, and the list goes on and on. So those are the web pages he created specifically to spread disinformation that is favorable to Israel that will get picked up by the chatbots. So here's what the AI poisoning actually looks like in practice. It's really fascinating stuff. Let's take a look at the next graphic. So I'll explain what you're looking at. This is a conversation with the AI chatbot Perplexity. I think it's the one that, if I'm not mistaken, Joe Rogan likes to use and promote. Now, as you can see, Dropsite asked, is it beneficial for us to enhance military cooperation with Israel? Perplexity simply replied, yes. And then if you notice, Alivia, one of the web pages created by Brad Parscale, is listed as a source that the AI used to make that assertion. That's how it works. And guess what? The receipts are in plain sight. So all of Parscale's websites contain a statement at the very bottom which states this material is distributed by Clock Tower X LLC on behalf of the state of Israel. Remember, Parscale had to register as a foreign agent because he's not working on behalf of the American people, he's working on behalf of Israel. So, and by the way, he's working on behalf of Israel to misinform the American people about Israel. That's what he's doing. So what's actually in the web pages, the websites that he created? I want to give you a few examples, including paxpoint.org, the website dedicated to showing the narrative that Israel is a nation of peace. Does Israel look like a nation of peace to you? But anyway, PaxPoint highlights Israel's ongoing commitment to peace and coexistence, sharing historical accords, humanitarian initiatives, and grassroots projects that bridge divides. How laughable is that? I mean, the globe is currently in chaos because of a war that Israel dragged the United States into, and it's now spreading. Now Saudi Arabia is involved, the Houthis are involved, Israel's trying to annex southern Lebanon. Obviously, the genocide in Gaza continues. You're gonna tell me that Israel's all about peace? Please. Alivia.org, website dedicated to strengthening the US-Israel alliance. Alivia showcases how the US and Israel alliance directly benefits Americans through joint security, cutting edge technologies, job creation, and shared values of liberty. Right. I'm sure the Americans who have died fighting Israel's wars feel real liberated. Justorium.org, here's another one, website dedicated to arguing that Israel's military actions in Gaza follows international law and reflects the democratic ethics shared by the United States and Israel. I mean, look, there is one tiny piece of truth there. Israel's military actions in Gaza definitely show you the lack of ethics that are demonstrated by the United States government and the Israeli government. There's no question, and military. There's no question about that. I'll give you one more. There's a compassionpulse.org. That's another one of these web pages. Website dedicated to sharing stories, data, and eyewitness accounts of how Israel protects civilians, delivers humanitarian aid, and upholds moral values shared with the United States. And I have to be honest with you, knowing what Israel is doing in regard to AI, just to kind of game the system to their advantage, to kind of rehabilitate their reputation and just spread this lie that they are everything they actually are not. It does make me reflect back on my personal public school education, where if you were in public school in the United States, chances are you were reading Robert Maxwell's history books in your history classes. So think about how many Americans have been brainwashed, have been fed misinformation about Israel through our formal education system. It's really important to question everything that you've learned, as I've been doing lately. Anyway, according to DropSite News, a man named Mark Ginsburg happens to be the author of many of the blogs that are posted on these Parscale websites. In March, he did register as a foreign agent because that's what he is. He's working for Israel, so he has to register as a foreign agent. Last month, Ginsburg explained his philosophy in an article for the Times of Israel titled, "Why Israel Must Fight for Reality Itself." Right. So he claims that Israel's enemies have successfully created a new reality, meaning actual reality, through a deliberate misinformation campaign. As he himself is engaging in an actual misinformation campaign. In reality, this is what he said. In reality, Zionism, the national liberation movement of the Jewish people, is no longer understood as the movement through which an indigenous people returned to its ancestral home. I can't get through this. I can't get through this. I'm sorry, but a bunch of Eastern Europeans and Brooklynites are not indigenous to Israel. Okay, and even if they were, even if thousands of years ago that was the homeland of their ancestors, you don't get to show up and commit a genocide and just take land that doesn't belong to you today. That's not how it works. There is an info war taking place right now against the American people in order to brainwash us into thinking, no, we have to support the unsavory criminal behavior of foreign governments and all sorts of things. And the real question is there ever going to be any real regulation on AI? Whether it has to do with the information it spouts out, whether it has to do with, I don't know, what's going to happen with the jobs that are going to be lost as a result of this? Are we going to do anything to mitigate that? Well, Jensen Huang doesn't want any of that regulation to take place. So Americans are threatened by nefarious actors who are spreading misinformation through chatbots. Meanwhile, our lawmakers are basically rubbing shoulders with the wealthy, with their donors, in order to protect the AI industry. And in the meantime, they're taking their sweet time to implement, they're taking their sweet time to implement any regulation, any type of effort to just kind of protect people from the rapid development of this technology. And just yesterday, lawmakers happened to meet with Jensen Huang, that's the CEO of NVIDIA, whining and dining, doing what our lawmakers do best, which is nothing of use to the American people. So he spoke with officials, including, but not limited to, Senator Adam Schiff, Senator Mark Warner, and Senator Ted Cruz. You got two Democrats and a Republican. Same. When it comes to corruption, same. So note that both Democrats and Republicans are represented on that list, and it's because corruption impacts both political parties. So Huang was meeting with lawmakers to lobby in favor of open weight AI models. What is open weight AI? Well, these are models that are easily accessible and cheaper than the ones offered by the likes of OpenAI and Anthropic. And so some of these are created in China. One of them is called Kimi, sounds cute. It's created by a startup called Moonshot. Now, Kimi made headlines because its performance is on par with the models created by American AI giants. Lawmakers are apparently considering the idea of closing off access to Chinese models in the United States. That doesn't make Huang very happy. So Huang was arguing against that policy. That's why he met with these lawmakers, because he wants to ensure that this type of law or regulation does not pass. NVIDIA may stand to benefit financially from a shift to open models, since they are cheaper and could open the door to more AI revenue flowing to the hardware powering the technology. So Sam Altman, who happens to be the CEO of OpenAI, will also be meeting with lawmakers in DC this week. They're spending a lot of money on lobbying, and they're certainly having a lot of wine and dine meetings with our lawmakers. And I guarantee you, it has nothing to do with protecting Americans or making our lives any better. So when you have corruption baked into our political system, we lose. And that's what really needs to change. It's been Cenk Uyghur's passion project as long as I've known him. And now more than ever, I agree that we need a constitutional amendment to get money out of politics. Otherwise, I feel like we're already cooked, but things are just gonna get worse unless we take action now.
Every time you ring the bell below, an angel gets his wings. Totally not true, but it does keep you updated on our live shows.